Professor Rajendran Sarangapani from California, USA. A warm welcome to you, sir. Now he will be rendering a lecture on the topic Meditation and Disturbance by Thoughts, which is a very apt one for practitioners of meditation. A small introduction module. Professor Rajendran Sarangapani has been a Sky practitioner since 1996. He was fortunate to complete his Brahmanyanam in 1997, conducted by Maharishi. Now he is working as a solution architect in Fortune 500 company, promoting financial supply chain management practices. He is now presently living in California. He is all actively managing 2 Sky centers there. He also teaches advanced Sky courses to US masters. Now, we kindly request Professor Rajendran Sarangapani to enlighten us with this lecture. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, hold on, madam. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Be blessed by the divine. May the whole world enjoy prosperity, happiness, wisdom, and peace. May the grace of the Guru be with us in today's session. So, aspirants, before we deep dive into meditation and disturbances by thoughts, I would like to put a question here. So, madam, can participants unmute themselves? Is it possible?
If they raise their hands, I can unmute them. If somebody wants to answer, I can.
Good. So let us put a question into this forum, right? Because typically whatever actions or whatever we do, we try to apply 3 things, right? One is the purpose, like we think why we are trying to do that. And the next is the method, right? What method we apply to achieve it. And the third is the value. What is the value I'm going to get out of it, right? So let us put a question to ourselves, like what is the purpose of doing meditation? Can anybody answer? I don't have any slides, so we can have this as an interactive session. So what is the purpose of doing meditation? Can anyone answer? Yeah, go ahead, Suresh. Yeah, peace and happiness. Yeah, very good.
And reduce the mind frequency so that we focus on what we need to.
Okay, very good. Anyone? One more answer if possible. So peace and happiness. Suresh is telling keep reducing the mental frequency, analysis of thoughts. Good. Okay. Yeah, everybody is in the right direction, right? But fundamentally, we need to understand this. The purpose is we are trying to merge with the divine, right? Through a practice of meditation, right? So we try to disconnect from various sensory perception, and we try to merge ourselves into the vast ocean of the absolute, right? So that's the fundamental purpose, right? So once or whenever we are trying to do that, right? So numerous thoughts, right, is coming, right? So here we need to understand, right, when we are applying some methods, right, like everything, right, we use some technique, right? We only when we use some technique, we see that the purpose, right, is much smoother, right? So in meditation, what method we are applying is like pratihara. We started the pratihara concept, right? The wandering mind, right? The mind is always wandering, right? We try to reduce the wandering mind and try to go inwards first, right? That's why we start with the Nadi Shuddhi Pranayamam, right? And the spinal cord clearance, right? So those two techniques helps us, helps the wandering mind, go inwards. Basically, we are trying to do an inner travel, right? We all like to travel outside, but here we try to do the inner travel, right? So these two techniques of Nadi Shuddhi and spinal cord clearance helps us to deep dive into ourselves. It's like prepping, right? Like how a sports person before playing, does the warm up, right? So this Nadi Shuddhi and spinal cord clearance preps us for the meditation, right? That's the pratihara, right? You deep dive into ourselves. Then dharan, right? What dharana means is, you connect with the energy, right? In our system of meditation, right? We take the mind and go to the origin of the mind, right? Which is the life energy. Right? So the process of connecting the mind with your life energy, right? That's the dharana, you connect. And once that connection is there, you stay there, right? You stay there in that, right? Stay with your own soul consciousness, right? So there, the dhyana starts, right? The dhyana, right? Then finally, right, once we establish our connection with the life energy, right, the sama adi, right, we merge with the origin of this universe, right? So merge with this absolute, right? So these are the four methods we apply in our meditation, right? But unfortunately, right, numerous thoughts are coming, right, when we try to apply these four methods, right? Like as soon as we start meditating, right, it's like it's playing a sport, right? Like the opponent, the thought is coming like an opponent, right? So why does thought come? Right? Let's little bit deep dive into that, right? So assume that you're seeing something, right? In our system, we say, the obstruction, right? Obstruction is perception, right? Like, for example, I'm looking at a mountain, right? So mountain becomes an obstruction for me, right? So as I enjoy the beauties of the mountain, I become the mountain for that time, right? I transform into that shape and quality. Right? Once the transformation happens, it gets recorded in my biomagnetic wave. And when I go back home and just close my eyes, the entire mountain is coming, right? My own transformation. What I transformed at that time, right? That's what is coming as thought, right? So like that, this obstructionist perception is happening, right? Every time in my life, right? So all that gets recorded in my biomagnetic wave, right? So during meditation, right, when we are focusing on our own biomagnetism, right? So whatever is imprinted, right, like a repulsive force, right, the thoughts are coming, right? It's very natural. It is a very natural that thought will come because we are, going through different levels of frequencies. So whatever is imprinted in that frequency, that's what is going to come as a thought, right? It could be anything. So our own transformation, our own quality and image is what is coming every time when we are meditating, right? But again, here we need to use some kind of a technique, right? So one thing we need to understand is as we reduce our mental frequency and try to connect with the divine, right? Whenever a thought is coming, right, it means that we are getting disconnected, right? We are getting disconnected with the subconsciousness, right? So we can practice now, right? We can do a small session here and apply a very nice technique, right? Where you would see that when you practice this kind of a technique, you will see that the number of thoughts are slowly coming down. Okay, so let's do a small practice session here. Okay. So gently close your eyes. Okay, everybody please close your eyes and be in Ushas Mudra. Like link both the hand, both the thumb joint. Okay, gently close your eyes. Can everybody visualize the space in between the eyebrows? Just focus on the space. Just focus on the space in between the eyebrows. Keep focusing for 12 seconds. Don't count, but just be there for 12 seconds. Just onto the space. Now gently open your eyes. A great saint called Tirumular, what he has said is, if you are able to focus on the absolute for 12 seconds, right? It's one dharana, right? One, like we talked about the 4 methods, right? Pratihara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. So for 12 seconds, if you are able to focus with that absolute, right? With that space, like in our system, we take the space as the absolute, right? You focus on that for 12 seconds, it means you have achieved one dharana, right? So like that, if you are able to do 12 dharanas, right? 12, you take 12 seconds for one dharana and do 12 dharanas like that, okay? Somebody is texting, we can talk about that, Pradeep, okay? So if you do 12 dharanas, you reach one dhyana, right? That means if you are able to focus on the space for 2.5 minutes, right? 12 seconds, you take one dharana, multiply by 12, so you lead to 2.5 minutes. So if you are able to focus on the space, right, for 2.5 minutes, right, you achieve one dhyana, right? And if you are able to focus on the absolute, right, for 12 dhyanas, right, it's close to 29 minutes, it's one samadhi, right? That's the ultimate, right? So without any disturbances of thoughts, right, if you are able to do 12 dhyanas, right, 29 minutes, right, there it is the samadhi, right? So one technique we can apply is like you close your eyes and we are focusing on the space every time. And whenever a thought is coming, right, it means that you are disconnected, right? And if you are able to quickly, right, if you're able to quickly come onto the same space level, right, that's the fundamental thing we need to do, right? Thoughts are going to come, right? Thought is our opponent, right? That's the law of nature. But the will is there, right? In humans, the will is always stronger, right? So you can think there is a match between the will and the thought, right? Thought is law of nature, right? The cause and effect system, right? It's going to come. Naturally, it's going to come, right? To everyone, right? It's part of it, right? As life is there in the body, thought is going to come every time, every second. Now also I'm speaking, all your thoughts are there and it's coming, but it is getting engaged, right? You are engaged with my speech and those thoughts are not coming into play, right? But when you're silent, when we are not doing anything, all the shapes and qualities, whatever transformation, right? The obstruction is perception we talked, right? Whatever the perception, whatever we transformed, right? All that is going to come as thought very naturally, right? And applying this technique, coming onto the space level quickly, right? It's a technique we need to do every time. There you can see that the number of thoughts are slowly going to come down, right? Sometimes we get carried over, right? We just meditating, our friend might come and we talk to the friend. All this happening in the mind while meditating, right? We talk to them, we go with them, we go here and there, right? Mentally, right? All that happens, right? The will has to be very stronger to bring back the mind onto the space level, right? Space is like a stillness, right? So the mind, which is like a waveform, slowly we are bringing back to the stillness, right? That is the objective of the meditation, right? The wandering mind slowly start connecting with that absolute, right? So let's try to apply this technique every time, right? That's very important. And we see that our meditations are more and more successful, right? So I'll just pause here. If you have any questions, you can ask now. Yeah, Suresh, go ahead. Yeah, please ask. What?
Mr. Rajendran. So the obstruction happens only when we are engaged with the senses. And the sixth sense is mind, and that has this recording, and when this recording or the imprints expand, then we get the thoughts. So what if we can, I mean, we cannot remove the imprints, but if we get disconnected from the senses, would that be helpful?
You're asking getting disconnected from the senses, right? Whether it will help or not?
Yes.
Yeah. The meditation, the first step itself, like when we do the Nadi Shuddhi and the clearance, right? The spinal cord clearance is meant to get disconnected from all our jnanendriyas and karmendriyas, right? The senses, right? Everything, slowly it gets disconnected, right? Because when you do a spinal cord clearance, you are breathing from down to top, and then you're exhaling from top to down. I'm going against the nature here, right? So slowly you see that you're getting disconnected with all your perceptions there itself, right? Like a preparation, right? But when the meditation starts, it's all about we, or the will, and the absolute, right? It's just there, right? But in between, this thought is coming, right? There, whenever the thought comes, it means it's trying to disconnect me from that absolute, right? Very natural. Very natural, it's trying to disconnect from that subconscious focus or the concentration, whatever you say, right? Quickly, if the will is there, if the mind is very strong, right? If you're quickly able to bring back, right, onto the space, that's the technique we need to do, right? So getting, trapped with that, right? We have to come onto the space level. Did I answer your question? Anyone else have some questions? Yeah. Pratap is asking dharana, right? So the pratihara means that we'll start with the pratihara, like, the wandering mind, right? The purpose of meditation is like, we are the representative of the divine, right? Everyone, right? Anything we see in this universe, it's a representation of that Almighty, right? So the wandering mind, right? Always it keeps expanding, expanding, expanding. Now I'm trying to bring inwards, right? Inward, right? So that process of turning inward, right? That's a pratihara, right? Prati means we just look at hara, going inside, right? Now, dharana means there's a process where you try to connect to your soul, right? You try to connect with your life force or life energy, right? To dharana, right? Then once you stay connected, that becomes dhyana. You stay there, right? With that force. That becomes a dhyana part. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, sir. So I used to think that dharana means we need to say smarana of a name or some other god name. But actually, in the classes, right, I understood that we just need to focus on the Ajna Chakra. That's what you're asking us to do.
Correct, correct. If you're initiated to Agna, right, you go inwards. In our system of meditation, right, we take the mind, right, and merge with the origin of the mind, which is your life energy, right? Once you stay there, you feel your own vibration or life force, whatever we say here, right? There it becomes dhyana, right? You connect, stay there, right? But the process of going inward and slowly trying to merge with that, right? That's the dharana, right? You slowly come inside, right?
So, sorry to ask this again. So my question was, what I wanted to understand is that we do the Nadi Suddhi and spinal cord clearance. Right? After that, we start focusing on the Ajna Chakra. So in middle for Dharana, do we need to do anything? I don't
No,
know about this Dharana step.
the thing is, after the Nadi Shuddhi and that spinal cord clearance, right? Now we are ready to merge inside, right?
Yeah.
There is no, like, you just go inwards, right? You're going inward and focusing on the space in between the eyebrows, right? Once you start focusing on the space, right? The space itself is what is, moving in a form of energy, right? Space is the one which is moving in the form of particle. That's why you say particle, part of it, right? So there you can easily feel your force,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So there's no mantra or anything. So you're just going inside, right, onto the level of space.
Okay.
Right? So there is a beautiful word Maharishi used to tell, the understand, right? You stand under. You stand under something you can understand, right? But when the mind is over something, right, if the frequencies are very higher, right, we are not able to get a lot of understanding, right? The concept we are not able to understand. So only when we bring our mind, right, the frequencies of the mind, right, there, right, you can easily feel it, right? You have to be under, right? So going into the space level, you can easily feel your vibration, right? The life force.
Okay. So are you saying that it is a process of we are trying to do the jhana or meditation that is called the dharana? We're trying to go into the step.
Yeah, trying to go in. You're trying to go in. Right? One is the first step. I'm keep wandering. I try not to do that. I'm not going to wander here. Right? That's the pratihara. Now the next step, I'm trying to go inside. Right? It's an intermediate. You can say the intermediate process. Right? And here I'm applying. My destination is Agna. Right? For example, I know Agna meditation. I'm going inward now. So that is dharana. Right? Once you stay connected, right, that becomes a dhyana.
Okay, sir. Yeah. Now it is clear. Thank you.
Right.
Anyone who wants to clear the doubts can use the raise hand option. I will unmute you.
Yeah. So please try to apply this technique, right? The formula is given, right? The seconds, right? 12 seconds, right? That's the thing, right? If you're able to stay at that level for 12 seconds, right? One dharana, just go inside, and try to connect there, right? And after connection, you stay there for 2.5 minutes, right? There it becomes one dhyana for me. Right, the 2.5 minutes itself will be a great challenge, right? Keep experimenting this, right? You will see that your willpower is increasing day by day. Yeah, Suresh, go ahead.
Professor Rajendran, so wandering mind is a nature of our mind, and when we take effort trying to focus, trying to make it go inward, taking control, would that be going in the opposite direction, or just leave as is the wandering mind? It becomes tired and then it starts listening to you, and then you get the willpower.
And once you're tired, right, going back to your thing, right, once you're tired, right, you are drained, right, you tend to sleep, right, because sometimes during meditation we sleep, right, it's like, like a V shape, right, so you are at a point, right, either you can go at a sleep state or a state of, peacefulness or ecstasy, right, it's up to us, right. If the mind is tired and body is tired, right, automatically it will go to sleep, right. So here we need to use again a technique of that awareness, right, the awareness of the soul or awareness of the energy, right, that should be there always, right. So go to the right, for example, right side is your life force and energy, for example, left side you see the sleep state, right, you go to the always, right. So that's why some amount of the purpose, right, the purpose should be clearly defined. What why I am meditating, and then the method of applying is also very much important, right, the purpose and the method, right. Only when that is done, then our meditation will be more and more effective. And once you're tired, right, you cannot focus, let's try to sleep only, right. So meditation is like sleeping only, but with full awareness, right? You go to because during sleep I'm not able to enjoy the beauties of the stillness, right. So we're going to the sleep level only, but with complete awareness, right. So the ocean is moving, right, the waves, strong waves, are there, we're coming to a stillness.
I have heard in the initial stage, when the mind is wandering, one way to get the mind back is to focus on the breath, because we are used to which may be different from completely what you are saying, to focus on the perception, right? Like, yeah, because when I do the breathing, then I can feel it. It is something real. Or, like you said, Agna, but then I feel my kind of heartbeat between my eyebrows. I start focusing on, it's like, touching sensation kind of thing, like the skin. Yeah. So what is your comment on that?
Yeah, so breath actually, that's what we do during Nadi Shuddhi. We use the breath as the initial medium for our focus, right? We are doing that, right? But we are again going into kind of a deep meditation here, right? Going on to the space level, right? Further down, right? So there, when I'm trying to go there, as I gave one example, stand under, right? So you're again using as a medium, space as a medium, right, to connect onto that. So there you can easily find your, the life energy. You can feel the life energy very much quickly, right? So we can use the technique of breath and other thing initially, right? That's why we do the Nadi Shuddhi, our mind focused on the breath, right? Then when we do the spinal cord, again I'm going one step down, focusing on the energy, moving of the energy from down to top, then top to down, right? Then when the meditation starts, right, slowly we try to get disconnected from the breath and closer and closer to the divinity, right? That level of um, practice we should enact, right? One start with the breath, then the energy, then onto the space level, right? So when we have all these three techniques applied, you will see that the meditation is much more effective.
Thank you. Warren.
Any more questions? If anybody wants to express their opinion, feel free to do.
I think if there are no questions, Madam, can we wind up?
Yes, sir. So it was a very wonderful, nice sessions. It was a very interactive session, so no need for a separate time for asking doubts because the session itself was interactive. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your very nice and wonderful lecture. You explained about Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. So Pratyahara is like warming up. Dharana is connecting your mind with life energy. Dhyana is staying there. And Samadhi is merging with the divine. So the aim of meditation is to connect with the divinity. So you taught us a technique to reduce our thoughts. And you also quoted 12 seconds is from Tirumula for poem. You quoted that 12 seconds makes one dharana and 12 dharanas make one dhyana and 12 dhyanas make one samadhi. So it was very informative. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your wonderful and informative lecture. So we'll try the technique taught us. Thank you, sir. Now, thank you, friends. Now let us all bless Professor Rajendran Sarangapani. So, Professor Rajendran Sarangapani, be blessed with good health, long life, enough wealth, peace, prosperity, and happiness. Now, someone has raised the hand. Sir, you can unmute yourself.
Yes, sorry, madam. I just
You can go ahead.
sorry, sir, actually to ask this question again. So, what was the technique you were saying that when mind is when we are getting a thoughts, I was saying that we again try to bring back to the Ajna chakra. Is that the
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. Right. So, right. You close your eyes, you be at the space level. Right now, suddenly a thought is coming. It means that you got disconnected, right, from the space. Right. Again, you come back. Right? The coming back is what is that will. Right. Sometimes we are not able to come back. We just carried away.
actually that is the problem? Generally, I face we are not able to come back.
Correct. Yeah. So it's the practice of your own. Right. So do a lot of paperwork, do some introspection before meditation. Right. Just accept the fact that yes, thought is going to come, but accept it. But once it comes, whatever may be, right, I'll come back. But use this 12-second technique initially. Start with a few, 1 unit. Right, to take 12 seconds as 1 unit, achieve, right, try to achieve it. Then go for 2.5 minutes. Right, if you're able to achieve 2.5 itself is a great achievement. Right, to be into that state.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a practice of its own.
so does that? So does this mean initially we should try to sit for meditation for 12 seconds and should we observe
No,
that
no.
we completely
Yeah,
focus?
what I'm saying is, yeah, we should meditate at least for 15-20 minutes, right? We have to do that, right? But just prep for it, right? Just try to do 12 seconds, we're able to achieve, then continue that. Try to see if you're able to continue.
So we
Right.
should observe and try analyze that are we able to focus for 12 seconds? Is that
Yeah, just once after the meditation, you meditate for 15-20 minutes, right? And do an introspection after that. Like how many times I got disconnected. It is just like a homework, right? We have to do. And we don't do that. We just, we are in a rush, right? And sometimes we become emotional during the meditation. So slowly, it's a practice of your own. Right? We are doing sadhana. Sadhana means they're practicing, right?
Yeah.
It will take based on the our quality of imprint, right? Everybody is different, right? Based on our quality of imprint and our personality, right? The achievement will be quicker or it might get delayed. But the method is correct, right? That we need to understand. That what I'm doing, it's the process is correct, right? But some might get a quick based on their karmic imprint, right? They will achieve very quickly. But some will get delayed. And let's not worry about it. Right? It's all about practice.
Yeah. So the technique, I just reiterating so that whether I understood or not. So you're saying,
It's okay.
yeah. So mind gets wandered. I need to accept it and try to bring back to the Ajna Chakra.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Okay, yeah.
Correct.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
you.
Any more doubts? Feel free to ask. Because a professor is here to clear all your doubts. So if you feel very happy, sir, Pratap sir, you cleared your doubts.
Yeah. Thank you, madam.
So that where there is a will, there is a way. So we should have the will to come back to stay with the divine. That is what you said. That's it. And there is
Yeah,
a will coming back at will. So you have to introspect. Why do I get thoughts? So combined with this, we'll be able to reduce our thoughts, isn't it?
Yeah. So the thing is, we cannot go away from thought. So we are thought only.
Yes.
Right. So thinking of space and meditating, that is also a thought only, right?
Yes.
Right. So that's also a thought. Right. The thing is, the photo image, I'm going away from various photo image, right? Of my own transformation. There's so many transformations because of the obstruction. I've been transformed to that state. Right. I'm going away from that. Right. But stay connected, right, to the subconscious mind. Right. Stay there. Right. And if a thought comes, that means I'm get disconnected. I've disconnected now.
Oh, yes.
That the short circuit has happened. Right. It fused. Now the will of coming back to that. How quickly you're able to come back, that's the achievement. That's the practice.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Sir, one more small question.
Yeah, please ask.
So actually, while meditating, that's what we are talking, right? You saying we get different thoughts. So can I, in order to put a focus on one thing, should I say a name and try to repeat the name and to focus on that name? Is that way, or is it not to practice?
Yes, in our form of meditation, right, all that is not required. Right, chanting of mantra or any, right, all that is not required. Right. So the thing is, initially, it's going to be difficult, right, to just merge. Now you close your eyes, you are able to perceive the space. Right. Stay connected with that force.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Oh.
Treat that as your mantra, right? Let's treat that as the mantra, right? Staying there.
Okay. So, yeah, you mean to say that instead of I thought this could be alternative, because since my mind was wandering around many issues, I just try to focus on one name. But you're saying that name itself is the ajna point and try to stay there.
Correct. Yeah, stay there. Yeah. That itself is your place. Yes. Right? That's your home. Treat that as a homecoming, right? Stay there.
Okay, sir.
Sir, very nice speech, sir. And this 2.5 minute observation is all very practical oriented. What I would like to ask is, when shall we practice this stillness? Can we practice it in our day-to-day life? Or only during observation of silence, meditation?
Yeah, so like a homework we can do, right? Like either you can apply this technique during the meditation of 15 to 20 minutes, right? Without opening your eyes, right? What I'm saying is 12 seconds, yes, I'm able to stay there. Now thoughts are coming, right? Again, bringing back the will onto the level, right? So like that, either you can do it, right? Part of your meditation, or separately, just, see whether you are able to come to the stillness, like a homework. And incorporate, once you practice this one, right, then try to practice in that 15 to 20 minutes of meditation.
All right. All right. Thank you, sir.
Vayalmudan, Professor Rajendran. So when we say we go to the origin of the mind, or in other words, like staying with the divine awareness, but say I have not experienced divine awareness yet. I don't know what it really means. Are we saying thoughtless mind is divine? Or divine
So,
awareness? Yeah.
the thing is, now we are going to the characteristics of the divine, right? What is absolute, right? We have to go into that now, right? The thing is, absolute, if you see, right, it's like a plenum. Plenum means the complete stock force is there in that, right? For example, you take the banyan tree, right? So the entire banyan tree, right, how it wants to manifest, how it has to come after 10 years, 20 years, or 50 years is there in the seed, right? It's completely there in the seed, right? And once it gets the proper environment, right, or whatever the water or the environmental condition, the seed will start sprouting, right? So likewise, the entire universe, right, was in the form of a compressed, right? It's just compressed once and slowly it's evolving step by step, right? It's becoming a particle. From the particle, it's becoming the elements, right? From the elements, all these Panchabhutas are getting formed. From the Panchabhutas, all these living beings are getting transformed step by step. Now we are there, right? So from the absolute up to the mind, human mind, right? There is no missing link, right? Through meditation, I'm going to the other end of the mind, right? One is the peripheral, right? At the periphery, I'm having all those experiences, right? Everything. Now slowly I'm going away from that, right? Going up to the level of the absolute, how I began, how this journey began, right? Starting from the space level. I'm directly going there and staying there, right? So there, the mind is becoming peaceful, right? Once that peacefulness is extended for a longer time, there the feeling of ecstasy is coming, right? So in that process, you will see that there is no thought at all, right? We are just enjoying that.
So does that happen like when my mind frequency is 0, or I mean, is there a definition of that frequency there?
Yeah. So that's what Maharishi is telling, right? So you go through this different wavelength, right? It's called the delta, right? Coming close to the theta and the delta level, right? In the Duryadic state, right? Slowly bringing down, right? Going from that emotional state, that's the beta level, right? Start with the Agna Duryam, where you become the alpha state, right? 8 to 13 frequency. So again, when you're expanding your mind, merging with the universal field, right? Akash, going to the Akash level. Slowly it's become like the theta and the delta, right? 1 to 3, right? When you bring our frequency up to 1 to 3, there the feeling of ecstasy is coming.
Good. And Maharishi says like, this is one universal being. We are all one universal being. So one is thought of my own, and then the thought of universe as well. So there are so many people, they have their thoughts, and that thought also kind of disturbs me, right? Because like we are one universe. So how do we address that? I mean, I can go inward, I can be connected with, because that will be like a biomagnetism, and then we are talking about universal magnetism as well. So how do we overcome that disturbance?
Yeah. So when you going deep, right? It's all at the layer. Assume it's like a layer, right? So when you're going deep and deep to the universal field, right? Only the good vibrations are there, right? Just like the different koshas we are having, right? We say we have 5 koshas, right? Annamaya kosha, right? Then we go to the pranamaya kosha or manonmaya kosha, right? Different layers, just layer are there, right? So the Annamaya kosha is the higher, it's ready, that emotional or always thinking about the body, right? So in the universal field also, right, you go deeper and deeper, right? Only good feelings will be there, right? Good intuition, right? Good, all the good thoughts are there, right? So we're going deeper and deeper. So all this negativity and all that will not get impacted within us.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. I'm hoping there are no more questions. It was a very interactive session. Okay. Somebody. Yes, sir, you can unmute yourself.
Hello, sir. Valga Valamudan.
How
I'm
about
just a beginner in meditation, so I'm trying to practice, and it's a good session. So I will practice your tips and tricks as well. Just a quick question: the heart, the breathing rate is it tied up to the brain frequency that you spoke just now?
So whenever we are stressed, right? It's just going to Einstein's theory of relativity, right? So the thing is, when we are emotional and stressed, right, so everything moves fast. Like for example, when you get angry, right, you try to breathe fast, because when you're becoming emotional, right, most energies are going out, right? Energies are gone out, right? Now naturally, body will try to recoup that energy, right? To recoup everything, the lost energy, it has to work fast, right? So everything, breathing will go fast, blood pressure will go fast, and everything, right? But when you are meditating, right, I'm going away from the senses, so your complete rest you're giving to the self, right? For example, you're thinking, like, I want to go to this place, right? I'll take my bike and go there, right? When you think about that, your entire cell is getting ready for that, right? For example, if I tell you, think of a mango pickle, just think about the mango pickle, suddenly the saliva is coming, right? That means the cells are getting ready for that, right? So because it's imprinted, right? The experience is imprinted. Now I'm getting the saliva, the taste saliva, right? But in meditation, I'm just going away from all this sensory perception. Complete rest I am giving to the body, right? So all the cells are rested, right? Nothing is coming into play. Then automatically your breathe will come down. Yeah, the heart rate will come to normal, right? So all these are the benefits, right? The value you get when you start meditating. Because I'm not reactive, right? Complete rest to the mind. In that process of giving rest to the mind, right? It's almost like a sleep with awareness, right? All the physical, the cells also will come to a normal state. Okay.
Any more questions? Okay. Now let us conclude this session. Thank you, sir, for being with us and giving a patient answers to all the questions. Thank you. Thank you all for joining the session. Be blessed by the divine.
Yeah, be blessed by the divine. Have a good day.
Bye. We daily have group meditation in English at 6 a.m. in the morning, Indian Standard Time, and 6:30 in the evening. Please do join. Thank you. Thank you all for joining the session. Be blessed by the divine. Conclude the session with